Alright y'all, so I'm getting ready to start on this front oil seal. Got to remove the crank pulley balancer, the belts. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the fan, because I already know that my tool and my impact is going to be, I'm going to be fighting with it if I don't remove the fan. Depending on how big your tool is, if you're using air tools, I've seen people with air tools be able to get in there with a smaller impact and get behind there and do the job. But again, the fan is right there. I'm gonna go ahead and take this fan off and go from there with it. So one of the things I forgot to mention was, before I even touch the fan clutch or anything over there, belts or whatever, I'm going to remove this reservoir and get it out of the way so that we can get the fan up and out once we loosen the fan bolt. I believe they're 9/16 bolts, so we're going to go ahead and start with that. And you may have to drain your coolant, you may not. But what I'm going to attempt to do is just disconnect the sensors, unbolt the reservoir, and then tilt it out of the way if I can without removing the hoses. If I can't, then I'll remove the hoses, and then I'll probably lose a little bit of fluid, and then we'll get that reservoir out of the way. Alright, so now I've got the coolant reservoir lifted up and out of the way. I did have to drain or lose a little bit of coolant, because once you pull that big hose off of the cooler reservoir, you're going to lose coolant, because it's going to pull right out of here from over top of the water pump. So you can see I just stuck a rag in there immediately. So have your rag handy. When it pulls off, start stuffing it in there, and get a clean rag, guys. Use a clean rag and stuck it in there, and that will be enough, because there's no pressure behind this, and that'll hold it. That'll save you from losing a lot of unnecessary fluid. Now we're gonna go ahead and pull these bolts off, and then I can get in there and start trying to crack those crank bolts. Now that the fan clutch is removed, the fan itself is removed, not the clutch, I got enough room to get my impact between. Now see, I just tucked it in there out of the way. Now I could move it all the way out and pull it out, but I don't think I need to. I think I got enough room. I just wanted to make enough room to get in there so that I can get to that crank. Now I don't know about you guys, but I don't like fighting with anything. So if I gotta move a few things to get what I need to get done, then I'll do that. So next, we're going to I'm gonna see if I can crack the bolts. If I can, I'll do that. And then the last thing I'll do is remove the tensioner and the belts. All right, man, y'all can say what y'all want about my DeWalt, but this DeWalt boy, I've been using this thing for a little over a year or so. Boy, look at here. She does the job. All right, we got all 8 of our crank bolts out. Next thing left to do is to go ahead and take our belts off. All right, so we're on the crank. I've already started prying it. All the bolts are out. And what you got to do is you got to get you a big pry bar, and I mean big. This is what I'm using. Oh, hang on, there it is. So this is what I'm using. And then you got to remove the tensioner. Got to remove the tensioner assembly. And basically, you want to start at the top portion and move it. And there it is, right off. So now I'm just go ahead and lift it out of the way. But you're gonna have to go side to side. It ain't gonna come off just like mine did, because I did a little bit prior on both sides before I started the video. But once you keep going from side to side, you walk it up, it'll come right down. Hey guys, so I'm wrapping this up for the day. I got that crank pulley up there and out the way. Boy, that joker heavy. And I can clearly see the oil leaking, like I said, in the front, the bottom of the seal. Let me zoom in for you guys. See that wet? And what was happening, it was running down. You can even see where it was running down. That's why that section in the middle is like more cleaner than the surrounding sides, because the surrounding sides was just getting the spray off. So it was clearly running down that front, and we clearly see oil leaking in the galley there. So I'm gonna pull that housing off. I did get the gaskets for the housing. That was what was in that flat box you guys seen in the short. And I'm just gonna crack all the bolts, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get some cleaner and clean this up. But I'm not gonna come back. It's already about 4 o'clock. So I'm going to just get some cleaner, pick up some, and come tomorrow, clean everything up. I need to pick up some I can't think of it. It's like it's the silicone. Gosh, I can't even think of it. It's the machining silicone, the gray stuff that they use on, like, to seal between blocks and gaskets, because I want to put some of that in between with the gasket as well. So yeah, but I'm happy about this. This worked out really well. Not too difficult. Just got to be patient and take your time and move the stuff that you got to move out the way to get to this. So I'm pretty sure this was one of my primary leaks. And then, like I said, we got oil spraying back. I'm thinking all this is spray back. Funny thing is, it wasn't getting on the brakes. Thank God for that. But I see a little more oil in this area than I like, so I'm going to go on here and put a new crankcase breather on here while I'm in here doing all this. And see all this grease, man. So once we get that together, put that back together, we'll see how that's looking, and we should be able to fire it back up tomorrow. All right guys, so I've already been back to it. I've got the housing off, trying to get it locked in for you guys. Boom, there it is. And then I'm going to just go ahead in here and reach. I'm trying to hold this and do it, but we're going to just reach in here. Let me get the camera right for you. I'm trying to do this with one hand. There it is. And there's the seal. So we'll do a little inspection. It's looking like it's literally just war. Crank itself looks pretty decent. And I'm gonna tell you that, what do you call it, man? That daggone housing, it is a bear to get off. Mine's, let me unlock you guys from the focus. There we go. So mine's was for some reason I could have sworn that this went in here, but mine's had the dowel pins, and they're on these dowel pins. I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna zoom. Let me zoom out for you guys a little bit. Apologize for all the shaking, but you see the dowel pins? There's one on each side over there. You can't see because the crank's on the way on the other side. You have to pry side to side, but you start from the top first. There's a little lip up there on top of the housing. I'm gonna show you the lip. Let's go here. See that little lip? So when it's on the truck, you can get a screwdriver behind there, you pop the top off, and you're gonna have to work it side to side, side to side as it comes up. When it comes to the furthest that it can, what you wanna do is pry this side off first, and this side is going to be the driver's side. Pry the driver's side. Once you get this one all the way up to where the dowel pin is at the edge, yeah, once you get this where the dowel pin is all the way where it's flush with the housing, hope I didn't crack it. It looked like look, we might have a crack in this thing. Oh no, it's a hairline. It don't look like it's all the way through though. I'm gonna have to clean it up and see. But that's, like I said, this thing was a bear, so I'm not surprised. But I might even just go ahead and replace it. But yeah, you want to get this side off first, and it'll pop off, and you can get it out. but it is definitely going to take some effort. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and get the new seal. I'm not going to film that because the seal is the new seal, and then you, on my truck, you just slide it on and then you put the housing over it and it kind of holds it in place. All right, well, as you guys can see, we got a hairline crack in the seal housing, and that probably happened during removal. I mean, like I was saying in my video that you guys probably haven't seen yet, is that this is a bear to remove, man. It was on mine anyway. I guess it was seized on the dowel pins. So there's 2 dowel pins in there that you got to pry off, and yeah, it just cracked. So gonna have to be careful of that, be mindful of it. But like I said, in my case, it wasn't nothing I could do, man. I just had to pry it off, and I already had anticipated in my mind that I was going to have to replace this. So looks like I won't be getting this done till after Christmas. Gonna wrap it up for this. I'm not going to show once I put everything back together. This was basically to just show how you can break it down and get it done. Like I was saying, be mindful, guys, of when you're prying that cover off, because it will break. But in some cases, you're going to have no choice but to replace it. I've got the new gaskets. So we got new gasket, new seal, and everything for it. And yeah, it sucks, man, because like I said, with this crack in here, I can't do anything. And you know, 2 days before Christmas, dealer's closed. Here's our new seal, and there's the one for the gasket. I had bought that because I had a feeling I was going to need that anyway. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Once I get everything else going, I will let you guys know. All right, guys, so we're back at this getting this done. I got the new cover. Kind of glad that I did replace it anyway, because if you look at this old cover, you see how it's all the way through. Like the seal could literally, let me clear it up if I can, so you can see how the seal will just be able to go all the way through. Right? So you see how you can just go all the way through. The new seal has a recessed lip. You see that recessed lip in there? And that's where the seal is supposed to stop. So that makes it easier on the installation. So I'm going to assume that was the original one and they just didn't put it in on that one. I don't know. But because I know it didn't wear off. So I lubricated this up with some lubricant, some silicone lubricant. And I basically just sprayed a little around there, around the edges. And then when you get the seal, it's going to come with this insert. This insert is for installation. Don't open it up out the packaging and throw this out. The reason it's like that is it's supposed to keep the seal lip in a certain positions. So when you slide it over the crank, the edges of the seal still face outward, thus grabbing the crankshaft and creating a better seal. So that's what that's for. If you look at how it's facing, and when you pull this out, it's to keep the, it's actually literally to pull, you know, to keep that seal in position. So what we're going to do is we're going to install this, and I'm going to push it by hand first, evenly, and hold on, I'm going to get it as much as I can by hand, and then I'll come back to this recording. Hold on. Alright guys, I got this installed. I wasn't able to show the installation, but I'm going to tell you what I did. I ended up having a better idea than what I initially was going to do, because you are supposed to have a seal press when you do this. I didn't have the seal press, so I had to do what I had to do. and I've done enough of these to know what I can and can't get away with. In worst case, I just had to buy another seal if I'd have damaged it, right? But what I ended up doing is using the old seal, placing it over here. This is why this lip is so important on the housing if your unit has it. If your unit don't have it, that seal will keep going. It'll go all the way through. But this particular housing has that lip so it'll bottom out and you'll know. So I just literally took my old seal, put it over the edges, and then just slightly tap it. And you'll tap it evenly on side to side, left to right, you know, kind of cross it until you get it all the way seated. Now when you're pushing this through, you want to make sure that wherever you're pushing this down is cleared. I'm doing it on the back of my truck, so you got to make sure that is not being damaged, that plastic insert. So I got enough gap, and it's still stable enough for me to hammer it. You know, something like a vise or a press would be ideal, but you know, you make what you want, or you get your 2 blocks of wood or some concrete, sit it on some concrete blocks so you can tap this through. It doesn't need a whole lot of force. You ain't gotta be, you know, forceful with it. And as you can see, you should have a little bit of a gap still between, and it is bottomed out, as you guys can probably see. I don't know, but yeah, so we're about ready to get this thing on. I'm going to put some silicone on the bottom of this, and put the new gasket on the back. We're going to get this popping. Alright, so here's our new seal. It just goes on like that, but I'm going to put it on the engine side first. There's the old seal. And then there's the part number. That's for my particular model. I don't know if it's going to be the same for you guys. So we'll go right over here, and we're just going to put it on. We're just going to put it on just like that. We got the dowel pins right there. I might not be able to do this. Oh, yeah, ain't gonna be able to do it with a mount, with you know, a recording. So you guys got the point though. All right, the seal housing and the seal is in. I put the cover on the outside of the seal, and now we just got to tighten the bolts up and get it back on. All right, we got our belts back reinstalled, and now I'm going to go ahead and get this fan back on. I'll give you another tip. It's easier to move the fan shroud out of the way when trying to get to the bolts back here to take off the fan blades. Otherwise, you're stuck sticking your hand through the blades and using your wrench between the blades. Can you do it? Yes, I've done it plenty of times, but removing this fan shroud out the way just a little bit will go a long way. You could either take the bolts off the sides, off of both sides, and lean the whole thing inward. That'll give you an extremely amount of room to get your ratchet in there. Or you can do what was done on this unit, was the actual housing was cut. They cut the housing here, and reattached it with a plate and bolts, which allows you to be able to take off half of the shroud and pieces. Like, you can take it off in 2 pieces if you ever needed to service behind here for some reason, which is pretty good idea. Because I have one of my personal trucks is actually like that. It's a 2-piece shroud instead of a 1-piece shroud, and it does give you a little bit more flexibility for things like this. And then you can literally just get your ratchet in here and work, and this just makes life that much easier. So I just wanted to give you guys that pro tip. Side note, no oil leaking.